Hello and welcome back to an episode of Wrestling Wednesdays. Now, I am very honoured to be joined by British wrestling and worldwide professional wrestling royalty, to be fair. I think a lot of people always comment on the British side, but this man has toured the world and created legacy and opened doors for many people, as you'll know from being wrestling fans yourselves. You've either seen him live or seen him online, and you will certainly want to read his book if you haven't already. Now, let me just give you a little hint about some of his titles he's had in his career. FWA British Heavyweight Champion, House of Pain Heavyweight Champion, Slam Wrestling Champion. I think that was the first one as well of that company's. Titles in 1PW, IPW, World Association of Wrestling, Extreme Pro Wrestling, and a multiple tag team champion. A lot of the times with Jody Flesh and some guy. Don't know who he is. Never really. Apparently, just some guy. A flag bearer, as I say, of professional wrestling. The unofficial legend, author, as we'll delve into. The pop star of professional wrestling is what I like to refer to him as. He is the Wonder Kid, Jonny Storm. Jonny, I really appreciate your time. It's great to speak with you.
What else is there to say? We may as well quit the call now, man. That's it. We're done.
Exactly. We'll just blast on some five for the next 20 minutes, and then we'll be well away. How are you keeping?
I'm good, man. I got my tickets for 5 in November at the O2, mate. All of them back together.
Excellent. How great is it that Jay's back?
All of them. The whole crew.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's amazing. It's amazing. You're going to make a little cameo appearance and jump on there?
Oh, I'd love to, man. Do you know what? A funny story. A friend of mine who runs SOS in Harwich, they were doing some sort of fun day with the wrestling there, and five were, there was only two of them apparently, were one of the acts to go on. And they were sharing the same sort of dressing rooms or the next door dressing room. So a few of them got chatting to them, and they were like having a laugh with them, saying, "Oh, you should come on stage with us," and all that kind of stuff. And I was kicking myself that I didn't do the show. I was already booked somewhere else that day, but I was gutted.
Well, the funny thing is about five, they like there is some wrestling lyrics in a couple of the,
Yeah.
like Bad Boys are ready to write. There's little Stone Cold, Jimmy Fly Snooker things. That I reckon they need a bit of Johnny Storm in their life.
Well, I'd love that, mate. It'd be awesome. I wouldn't have to pay for a ticket then.
Exactly. Be totally different. Well, as I say, we're mainly getting the chance to speak to you today because you've written an incredible book that is your journey through into wrestling from a kid to your whole career, including now, and reflecting back on some of your hilarious and also incredible stories. The unofficial legend, we'll show it here, the Wonder Kid, where you can obviously get your copies. We'll put the links underneath where you're able to get it directly from yourself and signed versions and so on. Um, the book obviously reflects not just the fact that you've got an amazing career to talk about, but it showcases your attention to detail in terms of not just for your match, but you're talking about the whole show and the life around the show and what it's like being on the road and all these incredible moments you've had over your career. And with all the comments you got from people, it shows the impact you've had on people within the industry, not just on us guys that sit there going, yeah. So I think it's an incredible read for anyone that wants to know what it's like to be you and to be in that world. What was it like for you though when you were sitting down reflecting on the story of your story? What was it like? What was it like to go into that?
Um, well, I've sort of said this before. Like when I started writing it it was about 2020. It was sort of during COVID time, and I was doing it more for me as something to look back on.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to be my 30th year in professional wrestling, which is this year, which it coincided with coming out to, which was actually worked out a lot better. But I just wanted it there for me, like, I think at that time I was in, 25 years, which is obviously a lot anyway. And I don't want to grow old and crusty and not have the memories. So I was working on that and I was working on my YouTube. But I didn't really take it too seriously when I first started. I was just sort of, jotting things down and stuff. And then fast forward like a year and a half or so, I thought I've got to do this. You know what I mean? I've got to do it properly and dedicate time to it. So then I sort of worked out, scheduled my week to do sort of 6 hours a week on the book. And it just sort of come together. I've never written a book before in my life. And as I say in the book, I probably haven't written anything since school days and stuff like that, not like long sort of essays or anything. So it just sort of come together that way. And I wanted it from me, you know what I mean? I want people to read it in my voice or people who know me to read it as me reading it. Because I think that's what really makes the book, in my opinion. Even if you don't know me, like, you can get a feel of who I am. I didn't want someone writing it for me because I want to say it how I want to say it or how I would say it in real life. You know, it's just a pure, genuine reflection of who I am as a person. And yeah, it was just a lot of hard work and dedication. 3 years it took me, coincided with my 30th year of wrestling when it finally came out at the end of last year. And the response has been phenomenal. Like getting back to your question, just connecting with some of the people who I've met over the years, you know, from all different countries, it's been phenomenal. And the one word I would say probably is humbling more than anything, because all it would have been was, you know, after, hey, how you doing, all that sort of stuff, it would just be, look, I'm writing my book, write whatever you want and I'll put it in the book. And that's literally what happened. I haven't edited anything or changed bits and stuff. It's literally whatever you want to write, I'll just whack it in the book. And as you'll read, when people read it, there's a lot of good surprises of wrestlers in there, which people will be shocked about, I think, if you haven't sort of followed my career.
Yeah, and I think that's the impact I think that's nice. As I say, not to spoil anything, it's nice to see your journey, as I say, from childhood fan into that career, and then obviously there's so many household names that you've worked with and that comment in the book, and that's a beautiful reflection on the impact, as I say, you've had on them and the memories they've got of you. I love as well the mementos, the sort of, you know, the images aren't just, you've got some incredible photos in there, but you've got like the call sheets, or you've got the match cards and things like that, and you go into a lot of detail on what a venue was like, or, you know, but it is in your personality, like you say, it is written. You can feel you. It's almost like you can, you know, the audible versions of books these days that people can listen to. You can almost read it, thinking, hearing you as you
Yeah.
read through. It doesn't feel like it's been written by someone else or anything else.
Thank
It's
you.
very,
Yeah,
very beautiful.
that's what I wanted, man. Like, a couple of people have asked me for audiobooks, and
Mm.
I might get to it eventually. I've got no clue about how to do it for a start. But I personally have a collection of wrestling books, you know, and I like them there on my shelf, and I like
Mm.
to see them on my shelf, you know. So my whole thing from the start was always going to be a book, because I want fans and friends to have that book on their shelf as well. Because I think once you've listened to an audio book or whatever, it's just sort of forgotten in and amongst all the other ones or
Yeah.
files on your computer or phone or whatever. At least with the book, it's a physical thing that you can have and hold in your hand. As far as the pictures go, yeah, there's almost 50 pictures in there. And I think I was just lucky that I always happened to have some sort of camcorder on me, or because there were obviously no mobile phones back then when I was starting. I just have, you know, one of those disposable cameras that you could buy and then take them to boots to get developed. So it's crazy to me that I did take all those pictures, and I'm so glad I did. Like, the one that I always think of when people say about it is the TNA run sheet, and
Yeah.
that was the official one from backstage. Which, when you read the book, is it was right next to Jeff Jarrett's office, where that would always be posted, and that's where you would find out what you were doing for the night. And I guess I've just gone in there one day, took a shot of it, and carried on my merry way. And all these years later, I've had to dig it out, and it works. You know, it come out really well.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think that nostalgia, that obviously, you know, we live in a time where there's a lot of obsession with nostalgia and reflecting back anyway, so it taps into that nicely, and probably arcs to your you know, your fanship as a child, and the fact that you got in, you know, you went over to WrestleMania 10, you met loads of wrestlers, you got involved in that sort of things. Won't say any more about it because people can read your journey as well, and I think they'll understand it quite
A
well.
lot of people didn't know that about me as well. I've had so many wrestlers come up to me and say, "I didn't know you were such a fan." And yeah, it's pretty much been my whole life. So if you
Yeah.
want the gossip on Johnny Storm, that book's got it all, believe me.
Yeah, and as I say, we'll put the link underneath to get it directly from obviously your website. I know you mentioned on your podcast, on the podcast with Benville, that obviously you can get it through Amazon as well. But obviously, if you get it direct from yourself, you can upgrade it to get a signed edition,
Yeah,
and I think that's well worth doing. And obviously, if not, get a copy and come and see you at an event this summer and talk to you about it and let you
absolutely.
know your favorite
I
stories.
want the comments, you know. I
Mm.
refuse to believe everybody loves it, because that's all I've got. I've gotten so much love for the book, and I can't believe there's like nothing bad, you know. Yeah, there must be, like, I don't know, maybe it's the best book ever written, who knows.
I think it's, don't forget, people care about you from different levels. Obviously, fans like myself, we care about you because of what you've given us as entertainment and stories over the years, and you've been part of our lives for such a long period of time. whatever part of wrestling you got into, we've all gone through this career with you. And those you've worked with, you clearly have made you've got a great personality and friendship with all of them, and they all think fondly of you. So I think because it is like just literally talking to you, it's like listening to you telling stories. It's almost like being in the car with you and you telling me stories about what you got up to in wrestling. I
Thank
think
you.
that's why everyone loves it, because it is,
Thank you.
it is you. So I think it's very honest.
I think for me, it's I came from being such a super fan.
Mm,
So I've been on both sides of the fence, and I know how I felt when I met my heroes, or how I felt when someone was a bit of a dick to me or whatever. And being on the other side of it now, I think that I hope it translates over more. That I'll always try and give my time to the fans, because I was one of you as well. I
yeah.
still am one of you. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's amazing to read. As I say, I can't recommend it enough. I think there's some brilliant books out there in terms of wrestling as an outsider looking in to understand the industry. And I think yours is a beautiful tale. A lot have got ups and downs with more negativity, I suppose, as well. And yours is very much celebrating, which is great. But it's your unique humour. I won't spoil too much, but I think the one that sticks out to me is the when you had a match with Punk and you were talking about the ring, but I won't talk about too much about that. But the venue and what it was like, and it really did. It gives that sense of feeling.
It's all true, mate. It's all true.
I can almost,
100%. Everything in that book is true. Like in my mind, if I lie or expand the truth just a little bit, just once, then the whole thing will fall apart.
yeah, yeah.
Like I say, I wrote it for me. It's a love story to me, and I'm glad that I can share it with people now.
No, it's beautiful. I need to ask you about 1997 and Dean AS and a crybaby match. My comments are: was that a reference to your love of Razor Ramon? And what was it like putting Dean over?
Uh, I didn't have a choice in the match. I was told it was that. And of course, I'm devastated putting Dean over because he's fucking terrible. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Dean's awesome, and he's a brilliant mind, and he's a big asset for British wrestling. Um, Funny you should say that. I've found that match. I don't know if it was already on my YouTube or not. I don't think it was, but I'm converting all my old VHS to digital now. And that was one of the matches I've just found. I had to, because it's on camcorder, a lot of it's camcorder. Like I say, all old footage. It's not the greatest, clearest type of stuff. Because when I put it on, I was like, who the hell is that? I'm wrestling. And it took me to go to the ring introductions to hear it was Dean Ass. I was like, oh shit, it's the Crybaby match. I couldn't believe it. So I've actually got that, and I'm transferring it to digital as we speak. So pretty soon that'll be on my YouTube channel, man. For all my faults, like, yeah.
Incredible. I can't wait to see that. I think that's one of the I didn't know that about you or Dean until I read the book. So
Yeah,
I had the
yeah,
pleasure of working with Dean a few years ago on a tour, and I didn't know that at all. So I was like, "What? Brilliant!"
yeah.
So thank you for bringing that into my life, and I can't wait.
No, absolutely. Yeah, don't thank Dean for it. It was all me.
Definitely.
It was only because they were doing the Crybaby matches on WWF
Yeah,
TV back at that time. So I guess the promoter got the idea of that.
yeah.
And
Well, I just thought it might have been to do with your love of Razor, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think it was.
yeah, no, I didn't have any say when I was in that company at the time, man. I was just getting started. But in fairness to them, like that type of match for my character fit
Hmm.
really well, because I was a dastardly heel in my early years, and yeah, it worked well.
Brilliant. FWA is something I want to ask you about because I think there's certain promotions probably in the history of I don't know maybe the last 20, 30 years that suddenly take off and make a big impact, the likes of What Culture, for example, and so on those FWA days, obviously working with AJ Styles and lots of talent coming over. Did that sort of how impactful was that on your career, getting to do sort of big shows in York Hall and so on, and getting to work with all these different talents from around the world?
Oh, 100%. It raised the level of my career. Like, you think when they brought in Mike Tyson for Shawn Michaels in the WrestleMania match, that obviously elevated those guys. And I think it was the same for when the Americans came over here and wrestled, not just me, but any of the guys, just it's all about perception. Well, first of all, AJ and Jerry Lynn especially are just class acts all over, as well as being world class professionals. They hold themselves to the highest standards, and to see them how they are outside the ring is something I've aspire to be like as well, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
I don't want to be one of those people when you get to a certain level of fame and then you just maybe arrogant in a way or just forget where you came from. I'll always remember where I came from because, you know, coming up through the way I did and coming through the ranks, literally from the bottom until up until the level I am, was I'll never forget that, and it's really important. And they were as humble as anything. Those boys. Jerry was a big name from ECW before. AJ was sort of top of the independent scene, which was just starting to come up. You know, this again is all at the very, very beginnings of the internet, which is ridiculous to think about when you say it now. There was just starting to come through sort of the exposure side of things. So they were getting a bit of a name on the independent scene. But yeah, again, it's the whole international thing, especially with AJ. Like when he came over here, it's like if you're in the ring with any of these Americans, it raises your profile over here in the fans' eyes. And really, all you're doing is the same job that you do on any show in the world. It's all about perception, and that's exactly what it was for me. And it helped elevate me in ring as well, of course, with being in there with such talents and in the fans' eyes, of course, as well.
Yeah, incredible, really. And it's just another reason I say to get the book. Some of these stories you've got and the people you've worked with are just they're people know them, and I think that sometimes it's hard to realize what it was like for wrestling back then. You know, you've come through at a time when it was just sort of during Attitude Era, and you're kind of working your way in, and then you get there for the internet era, and all that sort of kicks off, and you've got to learn all these different trades as you go along because you've started at a time when it was probably limited training schools, and now suddenly
Yeah,
the world's totally different to when you first
it's,
started.
people would not believe it when you say there was no internet, there was no mobile phones. Two things like that straight away is like, what? It's
Yep,
ridiculous,
definitely.
isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, very much so. On top of the DNAS match, there's another match that I'm really gutted I wasn't at, and I would love to hear your thoughts on one of the performers in it. Well, the other two actually, to be fair. But in 2002 in Croydon, you took on an American Dragon and Mr. Doug Williams, who is obviously another of my heroes, in a triple threat ladder match. I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about what that match was like, and then with obviously the recent news that Brian's sharing that he might not wrestle again. What your thoughts are on his career as a whole?
Wow. He absolutely loved it over here when he was here. Like he was full time on the circuit with Brian Dixon's All Star Wrestling, who were especially in the summer wrestling every single day for however long they did. I mean, I did a few runs with them, but he loved the camps because it was just the simplicity of it all. I always tell people the camps. When I talk about the camps, you know, like Butlins, Fontins, Avons, all like holiday parks over here, where they have free entertainment of wrestling within, you know, your holiday. So they're not wrestling fans per se. There might be some wrestling fans there, but it's the general public, you know, and they're always packed shows, and it's a great chance to go out and express yourself and learn things. And for me, the interaction with the crowd on those shows is invaluable experience, something which you can't get on normal wrestling shows because you'll see what works and what doesn't work with the general public rather than, you know, people who understand wrestling.
Yeah,
But as far as he goes as a person, yeah, he was awesome. He's just a genuine guy, you know. He loved wrestling. He took it seriously. He was always in the gym when he was over here. He was just a consummate professional. And I think being over here brought him out of his shell a little bit as well, because some of the guys that on the crew you got to have a laugh. It's all about the team when you're on the camps, you know, and I would say it's probably 50% wrestling and 50% the laugh as well, if you know what I mean, because you're spending all that time together. It's going to make you closer.
yeah. Is that what's kept you going for such a long time? The outside of the ring side of it, you know, because you're such a likable, friendly person. Is that kind of what's really, you know, that you know, getting to have time with different people and road journeys and you know a bit of a laugh and that is that what keeps you going?
Yeah, you know what? I hate the travel now. I can't stand the travel. I like being there when I'm there,
Mm.
but the whole getting to places just drives me crazy. Like if it's a flight or if it's a long drive or it's a long train journey, it's like, ugh. But once I'm there, I really do like seeing, people I haven't seen in a long time, people who might just be there who I haven't seen for ages. You get to know a lot of the fans who come regularly to the shows over the years. Like I was at one last week in Braintree, and there's fans there that have been following me since, like you say, FWA days. And they come up to me and say, "Oh, I remember you from so and so," and I'm just like, "Wow, you're as old as I am for a start." And two, thank you. They've put that time and love into wrestling, which we do as wrestlers, is really it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think the impact you've had on people, like I say, is probably not going to be something you really understand until you put the boots on for the last time, should we say? I need to ask you quickly before we head off about celebrity wrestling. I was lucky enough when I was at uni to get tickets and come along to a couple of recordings of celebrity
Oh dear.
wrestling, purely because I wanted to see Roddy Piper. I thought
Yeah.
what a great opportunity to come and see him. I actually really enjoyed it. I know it wasn't a big success in terms of what it wanted, but it looked like an incredible thing to work on.
Yeah, it was fun. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't fun. Like the show when it came out, obviously wasn't wrestling, unfortunately, which was probably the biggest flaw in calling it celebrity wrestling. But yeah, we were the games testers of the whole crew of us, and we were just some of them were really fun, but they were dangerous. Don't get me wrong. If you ever seen the show, the big pendulum ball that was heavy and hard, and when that, even though it didn't come in uh that fast. If that thing hit you, you're going for a ride. I remember doing one with Mock Bannerman or Banham, I can't remember his name now, but it was like a big wall, like an inflatable castle, and you had to move it. It was like you push it one way, push it the other against another person. And he said to me, "Should I just run at it and drop kick it?" And it wouldn't have worked for shit, but I was like, "Yeah, do it. It'll be good TV." Do you know what I mean? You might not win. You'll just run it and drop kick it, and then you'll probably get pushed off the podium, but you'll look cool doing it. Do you know what I mean? At least it's wrestling related. So I was encouraging all the celebrities that wanted my advice just to go out there and just be a big and as extravagant as you can with it and just have fun. I think that's the key to relating to people, making it fun, and they can see you're having fun with it as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the connection with wrestling and your storytelling. Need to ask you about this weekend. We'll try and do a little bit of a loop there because some gladiators are appearing at the same event as you this weekend
Are
at
they?
Truckfest. Yeah, there's
I
a
don't
couple of
know.
gladiators on Sunday and two on Monday, and I believe one of them on Sunday actually had tryouts at WWE recently. But you can maybe bug him about that. I think it was Bionic, was one of the guys on Sunday. I think he
I
had
wrestled
recently.
one a few weeks ago for Wesley.
Yes, I was going to ask. Yeah, because he was finalist in last year, and
Yeah,
I wonder what your thoughts were on him
oh, he's a great
representing and
guy.
winning that. Yeah.
He's awesome, man. He was telling me about when he went to Uganda for that wrestling promotion out there,
That looks insane.
who didn't have the ring
Yeah,
because I think he's part Ugandan.
right.
And he was just there and he got talking to them and they're like, "Do you want to come and do it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Did you get paid?" He said, "No." And I was like, "Why did you do it?" And then I saw it. I was like, "Yeah, it was probably pretty fun."
It's a very unique experience. It looks like. I mean, I'm not sure it will sell tickets, but it's great for online, and that's the
Yeah,
modern day, isn't it? But
yeah.
yeah. So basically, you're going to be at Truck Fest this weekend with British Empire Wrestling, and Sunday and Monday with the likes of Kat Von Cage and Kiana, who's doing so well with Kingdom Wrestling and others as well. She's really making a big name for herself. What kind of as I mentioned, obviously it's a big day out with trucks and everything and gladiators and stuff. Are you looking forward to those couple of days? They seem like they'll be totally different. It's almost like a version of a camp show, but in one vicinity, isn't it?
I've no idea what to expect. I'll be honest with you. Like I've done outside shows and fates and things like that before, but I've never done a truck fest. So 100%, I'm looking forward to it. And I had a quick look on the website, and there's an Oasis tribute band and a Taylor Swift one randomly over the 2 nights. If
Amazing.
people stay over, we're doing both days. So I'll definitely catch the Oasis. I don't know if I'm a Swiftie or not. Maybe
Well, and
after Sunday.
yeah, well, you'll have to see if the Oasis band can maybe do some E17 or something for you as well
Oh,
as
oh, I'd love that.
bring some late 90s back to your life.
Okay.
And before you go, well, Fight Factory Wrestling, because you're in my home county this weekend, basically of
Oh,
Lincolnshire. On Saturday, you're at Fight Factory Wrestling, where you're not just doing a match where you're teaming with One of my favorites, Flex Buffington, Sexy Flexi, who's another guy who loves his pop music.
Oh, is
Against
it?
Flex normally comes to the ring with Adam Rickett's "Breathe Again" as his entrance song. So I was actually going to do I couldn't think of the lyrics to put together, but I was actually going to try and do one of the 5 songs of your FWA entrance for you earlier on in the intro, but I couldn't bring my singing voice out. It's not worth it. It was broken. But yeah, Flex Buffington, and you're taking on Aaron Jacobs, who's a massive guy, and Damien Valentine, who's recently returned back to wrestling, and so that'll
Okay.
be a really exciting match. But you're also doing a seminar with those guys as well in the afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a while since I've been back at Fight Factory Wrestling. They've been going for a lot of years now, which is a real testament to them. Becca and Hayden, beautiful people, you know what I mean? It's just salt of the earth people, if you know what I mean. And they do their thing all around Lincoln and those types of places. And I'm really happy to be back for them because I've got a lot of respect for what they do. And I'm looking forward to seeing these guys because, like I say, it's been quite a while since I've been back. So I want to check everyone out and what they're doing at the seminar. And then obviously on the show, we'll see what Fight Factory is all about on Saturday night at X Church, right?
Yeah, yeah, amazing venue.
Which is a wicked venue. Yeah, I've wrestled there before and it was brilliant before. So I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think everyone involved in that match, I'm like, oh yeah, I love these guys. So yeah, I can't wait to see you all compete with each other. So yeah, as I say, before we go, we'll put all the links underneath for events this weekend and obviously upcoming events as well, because this interview will be coming out just after you've done Lincolnshire, but we'll put some links to future events as well, links to your book and all your social media. Can't recommend it highly enough. Go and get yourself a copy of this lovely book, The Unofficial Legend, The Wonder Kid Jonny Storm. Get yourself a signed copy, which is something as a memento. It will keep on your shelf. It will read multiple times. It won't gather dust. You want a copy, and head to Jonny's socials. Do you still have a Pro Wrestling Tees link as well?
Yeah, yeah, it's all in my socials.
Yeah.
If you
I'll,
check any of my bios out, it'll all be on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that in there as well. But yeah, when you've got the DNAS match out there, I'll get some shares of that as well for you because
Oh,
I can't wait to see that. And
I don't want to hear about it. I haven't watched it yet, but I just saw it was that. I was like, oh, I will watch it when I copy it, but oh, it's going to be a tough watch.
no, it's going to be great. I can't wait. The book's amazing, as I say. You've got the likes of Bill Apter in there, Doug Williams, loads of stuff with Jodie Flesh, all your friends in the industry. I won't spoil the other names that are in there, but it is a really easy read. You won't put it down. So, but I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've done over these 30 years. Really excited to see you again in person, and long may your career continue. Because I want another good year out, seeing what happens with some of these young guns that are coming up, and see how they can cope with you in the ring. So, I look
No
forward to seeing
worries.
you many times over the next few months, hopefully.
Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it.
All the best. Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.